How you doing, everyone? It's Ray with you once again. Welcome to my channel, On the Road with Yeshua. If this is your first time here, I share my experiences on the road as a trucker and what the Lord is doing in my life. I hope you're having a good day. Currently, right now, we're on our way to Prince George. It is about 9:14 in the morning. And I got about another 4.5 hours to go, or should I, about 4.5 hours to go before I get to my destination. Just wanted to give you an update. I haven't talked to you for a little bit. I've uploaded a couple videos, but haven't really said anything. I hope you enjoyed some of those videos I sent you, especially the last trip that I had up here. The beautiful leaves and wonderful fall images. Fall is my favorite time of year. I just love it. We had, or should I say I keep saying we, maybe I'm talking about all my different personalities. I had some questions that were sent to me on my YouTube regarding this industry, and I figured I'd answer a couple of them. I can't remember all the usernames because I don't have it in front of me. One day I'm going to jot this stuff down and put it in front of me, but I got off at a bit of a slow start this morning. I was supposed to leave at 3 a.m. I jumped in the back of the cab waiting for my trailer over at the yard, and I woke up at 4:54. So I was about almost 2 hours behind schedule, so I'm trying to make that up now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I know I got to be there at 12:30. It's 1:41 now. That ain't going to happen. But I might get lucky and I may be able to make up at least a half an hour out of this. So that guy was friendly. He's like, hey! So I'm hoping to get there by 1. And it's 1:41 now. So I've got another 384 kilometers to hopefully make up that time. I may be able to. I may not. I don't know. One question that was asked, what was it? The pros and cons of this job, being the trucking industry. All these people that send me these questions want to get into this industry. And I'm going to do the best I can on answering this from what I've experienced. I've made it very clear that I've only been driving an 18-wheeler for 5 months. I've driven 5-ton before that. I've always considered myself a professional driver because I've always taken my driving serious. And God has blessed me with a clean record, driving record, accident-free, you name it. So I'm not going to give you advice on something I don't know, just from what I've experienced. And I guess this could also be a real advantage to somebody just getting into the industry, because this is what I've experienced. Let me see, what are the cons of this job? Well, one of them is the traffic. There's a lot of aggressive drivers out there. The cars and the four-wheelers don't have a whole lot of respect for truckers. Some do. The ones that actually have the respect for you, I think they're probably truckers, but driving cars, because you can always tell in a car if somebody is a trucker or who has been a trucker. If you need to get into their lane, they'll flash their lights and let you know that you can get in. And that's just a courtesy. But a lot of these cars, they'll just jump right in front of you, and you got 44,000 pounds on the back of your trailer, and they expect you to stop or slow down. That's not going to happen. It takes, especially when you're that heavy, it takes a I don't know what they say it is. I can't remember what they said it is, but it takes a lot to slow down. I mean, even when you're empty, it takes, I think, 2 full tractor-trailer lengths to even come to a stop when you're empty, or relatively close to that anyway, without locking your brakes. I might be wrong on that, but I do know it's windy out here. But I do know one thing is it takes a lot longer than that to get you to slow down when you're full, especially if you're going down a hill. And for some reason, these four-wheelers, they want to jump in front of you. They figure they just don't want to be stuck behind you. And they end up getting in front, and then they end up doing a slower speed, or they're doing the same speed as you, or they get stuck behind another truck. So that's one thing you really need to watch out for that I've noticed. You got to watch out. Don't be so concerned on your driving. If you made it as far as achieving your Class 1 or Class A license, you did something right. Pay attention to the other drivers on the road. When I'm driving down a road that is just 2 lanes of traffic, one way, a 2-lane highway, let's just say that, I'm always paying attention to the other driver, watching what he's doing as he's approaching. If I notice he's close to that line, I move over to the shoulder a little bit. And yeah, to him I might look like I'm tired or I'm drunk or whatever, but no, just in the event something goes wrong, I want to make sure I can get out of the way. Another con is the wildlife, the animals, the deer, the moose, any of the, the bucks and all that. They like to stand on the road when you're not expecting it, especially at night. So you got to pay attention to the shoulder constantly to see if there is any animals on the side of the road, if there's any deer. And a lot of the time I've noticed that deer are smart. They will look both ways before they cross the road. But when you're coming around a corner, especially if it's during the day, they don't really see you coming. Another animal to watch out for is the bighorn sheep. And they're just stupid, man. They'll just stand in the middle of the road and go, oh, look there, a truck. I wonder if I should move. No, I think I'll stand right here. So pay attention to the signs when it says that that there might be deer in the area, or bighorn sheep, or elk. Elk is another animal that is relatively stupid. I think it's got the brain the size of a peanut. They'll just walk right out on the road like a moose, and they don't care. So protect yourself, because you hit one of those suckers, you're gonna be in trouble. There's gonna be some serious damage to your vehicle. Another thing that I do too when I'm driving, either during the day or especially at night, if there's a passing lane, and sometimes those passing lanes last for, like on the Caribou here, there's a couple passing lanes that'll last like 8 kilometers. I'll drive in the hammer lane, which is the lane farthest away from the shoulder, so I'm in the middle. Even though it says drive in the right-hand lane, the slow lane, it says to keep right, slower vehicles. Well, if there's no other traffic around, or if it's very, very dark out and I can't see the sides of the road that well, I will drive in the hammer lane, because I have a better chance of slowing down for an animal that starts running out onto the road. Wow, it's really windy out here. You can feel the whole truck going like this. You probably see me going, whoa! That's another thing I don't like about a light load. There's another con. When you're driving an empty trailer or a light load, the wind just plays havoc. And you need to slow down a little bit. So let me see here. The four-wheelers, the animals on the road. What's another con? Just traffic delays. I like to plan ahead of time, especially by, for example, on my phone I have, it's not an application, but it's a shortcut I have it on there to the BC road conditions, which tells me, gives me cams of all the different highways in that in the British Columbia area, and I'll take a look at all that, especially if I'm heading up to Prince George. Before I left, I took a look at all the cams to see what the road conditions were like, what the weather was like. This thing just pops right out of gear on me. I don't know why it does this. Oh well. What else can I say? What was I saying? Yeah, so I like to plan my trip ahead of time by doing a little bit of homework. It takes me about 5 minutes to go on the site and take a look and see what the road conditions are, and if the road conditions are bad, or if it's raining, I will leave maybe an hour or 2 hours early, just so I know I can get to my location on time. Because when it's raining, it's especially when you have the darker asphalt, it's really, really difficult to see the road, because a lot of the oil comes off the road when it rains. It's also slippery, ends up on your windshield, and then you end up with this film on your windshield, and you can't see nothing when you got a truck coming your way with his bright lights on you. And that's another con. All these new cars with these stupid bumper lights on, they call them fog lights, but nobody uses them for fog. They use them for an extra set of headlights. They are auxiliary lights. And if any of these people looked in their driver's manual when they took their driver's test, it says when another vehicle is coming, oncoming traffic is coming, 1,000 meters from the other vehicle, you're supposed to turn off your headlights or your high beams when approaching another vehicle, as well as auxiliary lights. But you've got all these people driving around with these stupid bumper lights on, and they're blinding you all the time. A lot of the truckers do too. And sometimes it's not even necessary. I got bumper lights on this thing here. I will only use that if I am on a freeway where there's where the lanes are separated enough where that light isn't going to blind the other driver coming the other way. Because the lights on these Volvos are incredibly dim. They're not very bright at all. Actually, the bumper lights on these things are brighter than the headlights, which is kind of stupid. So they're not even considered driving lights. It's like another set of high beams. I think I mentioned the delays in traffic, construction. There's always construction everywhere. You need to have patience, man. I know I do. Another con, in case there is a natural disaster like a mudslide or an avalanche, you can be held up in your vehicle for a few hours. So one thing that I would strongly advise, get yourself a power inverter. Most of these trucks nowadays, you can install a power inverter and they have outlets in them, like this one here. I don't have a power inverter in this vehicle because it's in my other truck. My eyes get dry when I come up here all the time. Get yourself a small little TV. And if you don't know how, like a little flat screen TV, you can get some of those. They're pretty cheap. The one I got had a built-in DVD player, which is perfect. And it was a flat screen 32-inch. I think a 32-inch. Maybe a 29-inch. I can't remember. But anyway. Some people are probably wondering, how do you mount that in your truck? Well, I found a real simple solution. Here comes the construction. Here we go. I'm not making up any time here at all. I'm going to be at my location. I'm going to be late. Nothing I can do. As long as I get it there, I guess. If you see that there, they make maple syrup there. I want to stop in there one day and get some of that. I remember the taste of maple syrup when I was a kid. Our school went out to a maple syrup farm, and this was in Ontario, and I still remember that. It was so neat how they can get that right out of the tree. Oh, they're painting the lines on this road finally. Congratulations, boys. Yeah, so what was I talking about? I get distracted so easy. I know I was talking about the pros and cons. What was the last one I was talking about? Anyway, the delays, the natural disasters. Probably wasn't what I was talking about, but I'll go with it, go from there. Another con would be, oh yeah, I was talking about the television, how I have it mounted. On the back of the TV, there's a bit of a grill, I guess where the air keeps it cool. I took 2 bungee cords, nylon bungee cords, and I hooked them inside the back of the grill. And I hooked it like where the top bunk is. There's a bit of a sleeve in there where you can, where the top bunk will sit down on top of it. And I just hooked it into that. 2 things that's really cool about that is you don't have to drill any holes anywhere or use any mounts. And the same thing is whenever you hit a bump, your TV goes like this. It's not shaking around like that. It's just going like this. So it actually protects your TV too. So use a couple nylon bungee cords to mount your television. I hope this isn't going to take very long. Okay, what else can I tell you? Yeah, so let me see the pros. Well, it pays pretty good. You get to travel. You don't have somebody breathing down your neck. It almost feels like in a way that you're self-employed because you don't have to worry about people watching every move you make. You can relax a little bit. You get fresh air. You get to, like I say, see lots of the different countryside. You get to interact with other people. You're like, if you're a kind of person that's a people person, this job's for you because you get to interact with all the clients that you're dropping your loads off for. Another nice thing that's really cool, all the flag girls wave at you. It's kind of nice. They seem to respect the truckers, which is nice, and we respect them too because we know it's not much fun being a flag person, especially when they're sitting out in the pouring rain or in freezing temperatures. You can see they're not having a very good time, or even the hot temperatures. Wow, I'm not going to be able to make up any time. Oh yeah, well, maybe I'll say there's also flag guys like this guy here. Funny little machine. It says they're painting lines. I don't see them painting any lines, just digging up the side of the road. Yeah, so I think there's more pros than cons, or I wouldn't be doing this. If you have a family, this job might be a bit difficult for you because you do spend, that's another con, I guess. Sometimes you can spend up to 7 days away from your family, in some cases longer. But if you're a single person, this is a good job to have. I mean, currently right now I don't have any commitments to a girlfriend or a wife. My kids are old enough to take care of themselves, so I have the opportunity to do this job. even though I'd like to spend more time with my family. I've been waiting a very, very long time for an opportunity like this. And God has really opened up the doors. That's another thing that I noticed too. When you're praying about something and you want to know if it's His will, when you notice that He opens doors to everything. Like, for example, when I got this job, or even when I applied for my Class 1, I didn't think I could get it because it was like $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 for the course. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to pay for that. Where am I going to get the money for that? And because I worked a year prior to that for another company, I was eligible for unemployment insurance. And unemployment, one of the government plans was they sponsored this training course for this job or this line of work. So the Lord opened up one door after another. I had to do this. I had to do the studying for the course. I had to do the course. I had to study the book that was that thick. I had to do all that. Of course, God helps those who help themselves. But He still opened up the doors for me. And I knew that it was His will, because everything that I tried, everything that I made an effort at, He was opening the doors and making it happen. Even to the point where I think I had my license 2 days after I passed my test. I had my license 2 days. And I got this job because the company came to the driving school to do an orientation, a recruiting orientation. And it was everything that I thought. They're willing to hire somebody right out of school. If this is worth checking out, because they had a 5 to 6 week training program, or 8-week training program, rather. And I think it's smart too, because they want people out of driving school and they want to teach them their way, and I think that's smart. So the Lord opened up one door after another, and that's how you can really tell if it's His will. If you see doors open up in front of you, or are they closing, or are they slamming shut in front of you on every attempt you have to make something work? And if that's the case, then it's a very good possibility that's not His will. Construction everywhere here. And I thought I could make up some time. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Yeah, so temperature's dropping here too. It's about 5 now, and the clouds look pretty fluffy. I wonder if I'm going to run into any snow, which wouldn't surprise me, being this far up north. Yeah, so overall, it's a fun job to do. If you like driving, if you like your independence, it's for you. You gotta just make sure that you get enough sleep. And when you are tired, find a safe place to pull over and get about 30 minutes of sleep. You'd be surprised how that'll charge you up. Another thing too I noticed too is that when you're driving, when the conditions are wet and you're not comfortable, when something inside of you here says, I don't feel comfortable, I'm going to slow down, then do it. Don't worry about what the other truckers are doing. If they're jumping on your radio and saying, come on, put the hammer down, let's go, turn off your radio. Find a passing lane, slow down a little bit so they can go by you. Don't let them bug you. First, I noticed that the first couple days I was driving, it was really bad rain, and I was driving slower than the average speed limit, and I was getting a lot of guys angry. I just ignored them. I just said, this is my second day out here. I don't know the roads as well as you do. Please be patient with me. As soon as there's an opportunity, I'll slow down and you can go around me. And generally, some of the guys will pipe up and defend you and say, yeah, leave the guy alone, man. He's respectable enough to let you go by him. So just don't yell back at them. Just try to be courteous. If you're too slow, just let them go around you. They'll respect you for that. Oh, she was cute. I can see her blue eyes from here. Wow. Flag girl. Yeah, so I don't know what else I can tell you. One thing that's a couple things that you might want to consider getting for your truck when you get a job and you get into your first truck. I would get a dash cam. And if you don't know where to get one, you can get one from a gentleman in Langley. His name is Kyle. The website is reliable with a dash eyewitness.com. It's a great dash cam. It has a built-in GPS. It has a timestamp on it that records how fast you're going. I don't have it on right now, but it records how fast you're going. It records your location, your coordinates, the time, the date. It has an impact sensor in case you get into an accident. It has a lot of little bells and whistles. I got it for just under $300. And it's a nice little unit. It records in high definition. Good little unit to have. You never know when you're going to need that. In case you get into an accident, somebody pulls in front of you, and you and that other person are the only ones there, and they say, well, he was going too fast, or he cut in front of me, or whatever. You've got this thing as a witness. It records your speeds and everything else. It's good to have it. Another thing that's good to have is a VHF radio if you're in Canada, or a CB radio if you're in the US. Because in Canada, they don't use CB radios anymore. And I'll tell you something. When the road conditions are bad, or if there's a radar trap ahead and you're maybe going a little faster than you should be because you're trying to make up some time on a straightaway, the other drivers will warn you. Especially if Department of Transportation is nearby doing random inspections or something. They'll warn you of that too. So, that's about all I'm going to say for now. I guess it must have rained here. These clouds are a little gloomy. So I'm going to let you go for now, and I will catch up with you another time. God bless you in the name of Yeshua. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave the comments right on the YouTube site, or you can leave them right on this YouTube channel, and we'll go from there. I want to make a video. I keep saying this, but I want to make a video on my thoughts on what's going on in the world regarding prophecy and how much time do we really have left. As soon as I get an opportunity to do this, I will, but I want to be prepared before I put that together. You never know, I might even do something later when I get into Prince George, I don't know. But until then, we will talk to you later.